Hello, welcome back to Fallout 76. Treasure Hunter weekend is coming up, and it will be running from the 29th to the end of the season, which is on the 3rd of September. As part of that, you'll start finding Treasure Hunter Moleminers out in the world. If you kill them, which of course should be the fate of all Moleminers, they'll drop some Moleminer Pails. Those Pails have a chance to give you both plans and legendaries. On that note, with the upcoming new season and the legendary crafting system that will come as part of it, I would recommend that you hold on to those Pails until the new season comes along, then open them up. That way if you get a legendary, it will weigh you down less, and you can scrap it immediately if that's what you want. There's 3 levels of Pails. You've got the Dusty Pail, then the Normal Pail, and the Ornate Pail. And the chances of those Pails dropping those special goodies increases the better the pail is. There's 2 ways to get those Pails. The first way is to loot it from those Treasure Hunter Moleminers, and the second one is to craft it yourself. If you go to any of the standard vendors, like rail stations, or the White Spring, the vendors will sell you empty pails. You can simply buy them, then go to a Tinker's Workbench, and in the crafting section you'll find chests. And as you can see, you can craft yourself your own pails. These crafted pails actually have a higher chance to give you special items. And overall the most cost effective one is a normal pail. This one has a 10%, this one has a 40%, and this one has a 60% to drop something special. But in terms of cost effectiveness, the normal pail is the better one. If you're going to craft, then I recommend you go to the White Spring because there's a lot more vendors there. And it's free to fast travel to the White Spring Resort, even if you're over encumbered. There's some people who still don't know about this, so let me show you how to do it. Look at my weight. I am super overweight, right? Normally I wouldn't be able to fast travel anywhere. Right? The game discriminates against fat people apparently. But there is a trick. Go to Atlantic City and travel. Then once you arrive, go straight back to the map and click on White Spring Resort. Normally I would recommend going to the refuge. And once you spawn in, go downstairs and you'll be at the mall. And like I said before, there's a huge number of vendors over here, each of which will sell you 1 pail per day. After you bought from every single vendor, you can simply swap servers to refresh the list. The biggest limitation to this method is that you can only sell so many things for so many caps, right? Right now it's 1400 caps. And as you can see, I've already used it all up. And to me the fastest method to actually refresh your caps is just to do events or expeditions and sell the goodies, right? Pick up everything and then sell it. The reason it works, normally this stuff is super heavy and you will be overweight, but like I just showed you, you can travel back to the refuge or the mall. You'll still run into the issue where the vendors run out of caps, but you can simply repeat the process the next day. Then go to a Tinker's Workbench and craft. And once you have those pails, then simply store them in your stash until the update. It's only for a few days, right? The reason is that these things only weigh like 1, whereas if you get any legendaries, they'll probably weigh a lot more than 1. So this should save you some space. The same goes for any High Priest packs or mutated party packs you may have picked up in the past. Open them up after the update, right? Especially party packs, because party packs are guaranteed to give you a 3-star legendary. If you insist on doing it the hard way, in other words, tracking down the treasure hunters, make sure that you either have Fallout first and are playing in a private world, or you're happy to be disappointed many times, because when everybody is trying to find these treasure hunters in the public worlds, there's a very good chance that you won't find any. But if that's what you want to do, then one tip is to use berry mentats to highlight living creatures. The treasure hunters will not show up as hostile, so they'll show up as yellow dots on your compass, right? Then if you use the berry mentats, you should be able to spot them much more easily. The hunters will only spawn in the world, so don't go inside. So anywhere past a loading screen, in other words an instance location, will have no hunters. And whenever you go to a location, make sure you kill everything, clear all the bodies, pick up all the loot. The reason is that if there's no living enemies, the game is more likely to respawn the entire set. In other words, you're more likely to get more treasure hunters. But let's say you insist on doing it the hard way. Then the locations where you can find some treasure hunters are the Tyler County Fairgrounds, the Groves Family Cabin, Aaron Holt Homestead, then cross over to the Toxic Valley, you've got Waby Willards, Clarksburg, the Black Bear Lodge, and Grafton Steel. Then go further south. At Morgantown, you should be able to find some at the airport, the train yard, and within Morgantown itself. Then further south, Bolton Greens, the Radio Tower, White Powder Winter Sports, the Water Treatment Plant, Helvetia, Sutton, then go further westwards to the resort, the Relay Tower, and Alpine River Cabins. Then cross the river and come down to the other end of the Gorge Bridge, Silver Homestead, the Kanawha Nuka-Cola Plant, and the Power Plant. Then cross the river again to the Medical Center, then Somersville Dam, Bleeding Kate's Grindhouse, Torrance House, Newgad, Somersville Docks, and Overlook Cabin. You can also hop over to the White Spring Golf Club if you want, or you can do that later. Now down in the Ash Heap, you can fast travel to the Rusty Peak for free, then hit Abandoned Mineshaft 5, the Relay Tower, the Brim Quarry, Camden Park, come down to the Abandoned Mineshaft 4, Beckley, Welch, hit the train yard, go north to Mount Blair, then Abandoned Mineshaft 6, then come back down to Abandoned Mineshaft 1 and the AMS Testing Center. Then hit Abandoned Mineshaft 2. Come further south to Garahan Estate, then fast travel to the Nuka World on Tour, hit Burning Mine, come back down to Abandoned Mineshaft 3, Lake Reynolds, and Louisburg. That's pretty much all the sites within the Ash Valley. Then in the Savage Divide, you can fast travel to the crater, and then hit the Palace of the Winding Path. Pop over to the Munitions Factory, then hit both of the Sunnytop locations. Further south, and hit the Sons of Dane compound. Then the Relay Tower. You can use Fort Atlas as a hopover point, and go to Monongah. Then back to Autumn Acre Cabin, and further to the west towards the Pleasant Valley Cabins and Beckwith Farm. Then go southwest to the Central Train Yard, and you can hit the golf club then. But otherwise, go to the Radio Array, then West Tech, then the Investigator's Cabin, and Huntersville. You can also use Foundation as a fast travel point, then go to Site Charlie and RNG Processing Services, then finally to the Relay Tower. Then on to the Mire. Start at the Gnarled Shallows, hit the Power Station, then Diochemical, and the Church. Then from the Church, cut across to Beckley, hit the Workshop, go to Harper's Ferry, and then finally to Treetops, and from Treetops go southwards to Carewood Mine, Firebase Major, Firebase LT, their Steakhouse, then south to the abandoned Bogtown. Then from here you can either go to the Glade, and then hit the train yard, and finally Survey Camp Alpha. Or from the Bogtown, you can go to the Ranger District Office, then south to the Appalachian Antiques. That should be all the sites that are known to spawn those treasure hunters. But like I said before, I would strongly recommend that you do this in a private world, because otherwise you're competing against the entire server. And if you do go hunting, make sure that you clear the entire location, because otherwise that will interfere with the respawning of NPCs. So whatever site you go to, clear it out. Everybody, loot everything, even if you drop it later, but loot everything to clear out the bodies, and that will allow the enemies to respawn. In any case, hopefully this guide will help you get those treasure pails, and like I said before, I do recommend that you hold on to them until the update comes.